If you're keen on weird technologies that can become the transport of the future, you will love the idea of the Nimbus 1. This is a vehicle with 3 wheels that resembles an electric scooter covered with a roof, but it's obviously more than that. First of all, the Nimbus 1 has a steering wheel and all other control features, just like in a traditional car. Secondly, its body isn't just made of plastic. Yes, it's a plastic shell that you see on its surface, but the body is made of steel and aluminum, making it pretty strong and relatively safe to drive. The good news is that the Nimbus 1 is going to be a 2-seater, so there is a tiny little seat at the rear part of the vehicle, offering a very cramped place, maybe for a child. It's quite obvious that you will find little to no place for your supermarket purchases if there is actually a child sitting in that rear seat. In terms of safety, I haven't seen a single crash test of the prototype, and I highly doubt there will be an official crash test or something like that. The vehicle is hard to categorize, so you'll probably even have issues figuring out which type of license you need and how you can get an insurance policy for this vehicle. What we know for sure is the tech behind this EV. It weighs about 300 kilograms only, and it has a pretty small electric motor, and the company has never even disclosed its power because it makes no sense to a future buyer. The vehicle is capable of accelerating up to 50 miles per hour or 80 kilometers per hour for the base version and up to 75 miles per hour for the 1S, the top trim version. The acceleration to 30 miles per hour will take about 3 seconds, which is pretty fast, I should say. The standard battery is just 9 kilowatt hours. The 1S trim will offer a 12 kWh battery pack for a longer range. The range is marketed to be 93 miles or 150 kilometers for the Nimbus 1 and 128 miles or 206 kilometers for the Nimbus 1S. But in real life, I suppose the range will be way shorter due to a pretty limited battery pack. According to Nimbus, the EV can go about 11 miles using just 1 kilowatt of energy, which is amazingly efficient. But there haven't been any real-life tests to prove that yet. The small battery pack has one advantage: you will need less than 6 hours to charge it at home and something like 1 hour to charge it at a fast charger. The cool thing is the way the vehicle leans when you drive it. It uses the leaning pattern of a motorcycle, which allows the company to make it pretty narrow and still ensure that it's stable during driving. To tell you the truth, it doesn't look that stable to me in those videos with the prototype. Also, I see one more problem that this leaning pattern causes, and it's the complexity of suspension. Unless they make some genius engineering for the Nimbus 1, you will have to learn how to repair the suspension on your own, because getting it to a good repair shop each time something breaks will cost you a fortune. The most interesting thing comes with pricing. For now, you can only pay the company $100 to sign up and pre-order the vehicle. The first deliveries should have been made at the end of 2023, but as of now there is still not a single confirmed delivery of the Nimbus 1. As far as I know, there are about 2,000 people on the waiting list, and the company is not really responsive when it comes to delivery time. Anyway, they offer 2 options for buying the EV. First, you pay $10,000 and get the vehicle in your possession, or you rent it out for yearly or monthly payments of about $200 a month. This doesn't sound that bad actually. Given you'll spend peanuts for charging the 9 kWh battery pack, the cost of driving these 3 cycles seems to be more than optimal. Also, the company claims it will deliver the vehicle worldwide. This raises a question on dealerships, warranty, parts, etc. For now, there is no clear answer to those questions, and we'll have to wait to find out more. What I know for sure, this tiny EV could be a bestseller in Europe, where average daily distances are not so huge and the parking problem is super important to solve in cramped cities. Also, these Nimbus 1 EVs could be a great solution for delivery purposes like food delivery or parcel delivery services. For example, there is a European competitor for the Nimbus 1 called Citroën Ami, and I will tell you about it in one of the next videos, so subscribe to stay updated. But do you believe that such tricycles or tiny EVs can actually substitute traditional cars for better urban mobility? Write your opinion in the comments below.